No matter what time of year it is, I like to cook a whole chicken once a week. I usually slow cook it, but today I'm actually roasting it because I technically like the meat better that way, but also I like to add a little bit of lemon to my chicken to brighten up the flavor. This chicken and the lemon are actually not local, but I'll be using these bones to make broth for a summer chowder, which I'll share with you in a few minutes. But I don't always have the bandwidth to create new recipes, and a roasted chicken is definitely not a summer recipe. But what I like to do is add flavors that match the season, so that way it feels seasonal, it feels summery, but I don't have to learn or do anything new. And that's one of the reasons why I like to keep my recipes or my cooking repertoire relatively simple, so that way I can adjust things that match the season or my mood. I'm roasting the chicken at 475 degrees until it reaches an internal temperature between 160 and 165, and then I let it rest for a while. In the meantime, I am out in the garden grabbing some vegetables for a cucumber salad. So my tomato garden is a bit of a success and a bit of a failure. We have tomatoes, but we also have some serious bug infestation, and it is also blazing hot, so the fruit has stopped setting. But I'm going to use what I can right out of my garden for a lemony cucumber salad with creamy dressing. This recipe is actually over on my blog over at moonandmagnolia.com. This is a pretty classic lemony dressing with olive oil, Greek yogurt, lemon zest, but the star is actually, I think, the fresh herbs. So I'm using basil and chives from my garden, and I'm chopping them finely and mixing them in. Now, if you don't have fresh herbs, you can always use 1/3 of the amount of dried herbs. But if we are talking about crafting summer flavors in the kitchen, fresh herbs are definitely the way to go. And then I am making a beautiful summer salad with cucumbers and tomatoes from our garden, red onion, feta cheese, and chickpeas. Once the roasted chicken was done, I just let it sit in the cast iron for a little bit and rest to finish cooking. And I think it cooked for about an hour or so before I let it rest. And now I am making a little bit of sourdough toast to serve with dinner. In hindsight, I probably should have used my homemade herb butter to make this toast. I didn't even think about it until I was watching this video and working on my voiceover that would have been really delicious. But you can take your fresh herbs from your garden and mix them in with butter and make a really delicious and beautiful summer butter. And that's a great way to preserve your herbs too. But once the toast is done, I am serving dinner with roasted chicken, a little sourdough toast, and cucumber salad with a lemon cream dressing. After dinner, I am making some chicken bone broth. So I'm picking the chicken and then putting it into my cast iron Dutch oven and adding in any vegetable scraps. So that's the nice thing about making a broth is you can use whatever veggies or leftover vegetable parts you have, throw it right in the pot with some water, and then let it cook for about 2 hours. I try not to let the water come to a rapid boil. That can make your broth a little cloudy. If you keep it at a low boil, you'll have a nice clear broth. Again, broth might not be a quintessential summer food, but I am going to use this tomorrow for a summery soup. So I'm getting it ready tonight so I can use it tomorrow. And it is officially, just like magic, the next day. Now, here's the deal about my tomato garden. It's a little bit of a mess, and I actually had to pull out almost all of my tomatoes before they were ripened. But honestly, I live in southeastern North Carolina, and we love nothing more than a fried green tomato here. So the more green tomatoes I have, the better. This is probably my #1 favorite summer food, and I'm going to share with you how to make sourdough fried green tomatoes. You will need sourdough breadcrumbs. I have a number of YouTube videos where I made breadcrumbs and a blog with a full recipe. I'll leave those links in the description box below. But the real secret to a fried green tomato is, one, don't cut the tomato too thick. You can see here it is just sort of a nice even thickness, maybe about a 1/4 inch thick. 2, fry them in coconut oil. I'm telling you, those are the secret ingredients. I am simply just taking the sliced tomatoes, dredging it in flour, egg, and sourdough breadcrumbs. Each of those are seasoned individually with salt and pepper. That's pretty key also. I do these in small batches of about 4 to 5, and I fry them in coconut oil for maybe 2 to 3 minutes on each side or until they are golden. Last year, I was watching a gardening show on YouTube, and the gardener who lives on the other side of the country was really upset because a bunch of her tomatoes fell off of her plant before they ripened. So she was going to feed her green tomatoes to her chickens, and I about died. Your green tomatoes will also ripen on the counter, but I recommend frying them. You can find a red tomato anywhere, but you can really only find a good green tomato in your garden. Next, I am making a giant pot of chicken corn chowder, and I'm using local corn that I froze from last year. So the thing about chowder, I feel like I'm saying a lot about summer foods and saying, oh, this isn't a summer food, but actually chowder is a summer soup, and it brings back a ton of memories. As a kid growing up in Maryland, going to the shore and eating crab chowder. So chowder really is, in my opinion, a summer food. So what I am doing here is I am just lightly cooking some bacon, taking it out, and then I am just searing some chicken thighs in that bacon grease. Then I'm also taking them out. I should note that you can make this recipe on the stove, you can make it in your Instant Pot or the slow cooker. I am doing the slow cooker today because I don't feel like sitting around dealing with my stove, and I don't feel like busting out my Instant Pot either. Then I'm just sauteing the vegetables, carrots, onions, red pepper in the fat and juices from the meat. Once they are tender crisp, I add the meat back in, and here comes the bone broth that I made last night, and I'm pouring the bone broth right over that. Now, this corn is frozen, and I'm putting it in there frozen. If you have time to let it thaw, I would do that, but either way, it's going to be totally fine. I'm also adding in a few peeled and quartered potatoes and bringing this to a boil before putting it into my proofing box / slow cooker. This thing is awesome. You can proof your dough in it or switch the setting to be a slow cooker. So I'm just putting it right in there and letting it cook all day. So we will get back to the finished chowder in a few minutes, but next I want to make with you some frozen peach custard. I know I said fried green tomatoes are my favorite summer food, but ice cream's life, so I don't know which one's actually better. These are canned peaches, and the peaches came from South Carolina because in these parts, South Carolina peaches rain. And I just drained the juice, and I'm letting a little bit of sugar sit on them to create a syrup. You could definitely use fresh peaches or even thawed frozen peaches to do this. Once that liquid gets nice and syrupy, I'm just straining them and separating it out and then putting the peaches and the syrup in the fridge while I make the rest of the custard. Custard is a major nostalgic food for me. When I was young, my dad and I would ride our bikes along the C&O Canal in Maryland, and there was this little custard stand, and we would go get custard and then ride our bikes back. So this flavor is really sweet and nostalgic for me, but what makes custard custard and not ice cream is that it has egg in it. So these are sweetened egg yolks. I'm tempering them before pouring all of the yolks into a milk, cream, and sugar mixture. And then once I get the egg yolks in there, I'm just heating all of it to about 170 degrees. Then I'm adding in vanilla and the peach juice and putting it in my ice cream maker. So this is the Kumio ice cream maker. I have a full review about this on YouTube. I'll leave the link for that in the description box below. But this thing is awesome because you just put your ingredients or your mixture right in, hit go, and you have ice cream in 45 to 60 minutes. There's no pre-freezing, no salt, no ice. It's super easy. When I took the custard out of the machine, it seemed a little watery, but I mixed in the peaches and transferred the custard into little ice cream containers and froze it, and it turned into the most beautiful and delicious custard I think I've ever had. For dinner, I am finishing up the chicken corn chowder. So it cooked all day, and now I am just taking out the chicken thighs and bacon so I can mash up the soup and add a few more ingredients. So I'm adding in some heavy cream. You could use half and half or whole milk if you prefer. I've made this with all three, and it's all very good. The cream is the best, but they all work. And then I'm mixing together about a quarter cup of cornstarch and probably about equal parts milk. I didn't really measure it, but kind of eyeballing about equal parts, and mixing that together and then mixing it into the soup and bringing it to a boil just to help it thicken. Once it thickens, I like to mash those potatoes just to release those starches to help thicken it a little bit more. And then of course we have to add cheese. So I shredded up some mozzarella and some cheddar. I have a little bit extra here. If you're shredding cheese, I recommend just shredding a bunch so you don't have to deal with it later for your next recipe. Then I didn't get this on camera. I forgot, I'm sorry, but I chopped up the chicken and the bacon and I'm putting it into the soup. And this is a delicious summer soup made with local summer corn. And really, it's the spirit of summer in a bowl, if you ask me. I served this with a side of fried green tomatoes. You can definitely reheat fried food in an air fryer. That works great, but honestly, I like fried green tomatoes cold. That might sound disgusting to you, but I think they're really good like that. This was delicious, and I hope you are having a beautiful summer. I hope you are making wonderful summer food using summery ingredients and enjoying every moment of these days. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and I'll see you again next time.